So now I've got to ask, Lady D, are you ready to play? Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life. Welcome back to the Dom Life podcast.
We are so excited you joined us. And so I don't interrupt in the middle of the episode, the opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we totally respect that. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at thedomlife.com.
We recorded an episode on terminology.
Oh, boy, yeah.
But after listening to the longest episode ever, we realized that trying to include general terms in one episode is not the best plan.
We do still have that episode, and if enough people reach out to us and want to hear it, we will drop it. But be warned, it is painful. The wrong kind of painful. It was best said in episode 2 that BDSM is like walking into an Amazon-sized grocery store. We will continue explaining terms during the episode, and if we was to miss any terms, we will define them in the next episode.
So can I go first?
Yeah, you want to go first? Go ahead.
BDSM, bondage, discipline.
Okay, wait, stop. Stop. That's the same shit we've done before. We're not going to do that. We're going to slow it down a little bit. However, there was some terms from episode 3 that we would like to go over. The first one I would like to go over is scene. We use scene a lot. Anytime we do any kind of BDSM talk or any kind of play that we do, we refer to a scene. And a scene is any type BDSM activity. It may or may not involve implements or tools or toys, which is actually my next term to define.
Good lead-in.
But so a scene is anything that you and your partner set up, negotiate, define what will and what won't happen, your soft limits, your hard limits, all that kind of stuff. That is a scene.
It's a very all-encompassing word to explain any kind of play that you do, any kind of interactive
pertaining
you do.
to BDSM. Yes.
Yep.
And so for the implements, tools, toys, those are all terms that I use.
all the fun things that I love.
So those terms refer to anything and everything inside my Dom box. I may be talking about floggers, whips, paddles, electric wand. All those types of things are what I refer to as implements, tools, or toys.
And we use them often. So mine was sub drop. As I was listening through the last episode, I realized that I never explained why we actually will deal with the sub drop, why we're willing to deal with it. Well, it's because of subspace, because of the endorphin release and the feelings and the sensations. Those things are so absolutely amazing, and the feelings are so wonderful that the sub drop is just something that you're willing to deal with.
So basically you're saying you would much rather deal with the sub drop because the subspace is so great.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Today should be interesting for you and for
me.
us. And for Lady D. We're going to mix things up a little bit. So we are going to take a quick little break, and we will be right back.
Why are we taking a break?
I need to set up our dungeon, and you need to get naked.
Ooh, okay then. Here we go.
And we're back. So, Lady D, why don't you explain what kind of predicament you're currently in?
Well, I am on what is called a spanking bench, and I am naked and thankfully not restrained, but I have my headphones, my microphone, and I'm naked across the spanking bench.
That is correct. So now, while Lady Dee is my submissive and my wife, I think it would be best if we do this podcast as if we have never played together before. So I'm going to treat her just like somebody who is brand new, who is nervous about getting this done. So I will make sure and take the time and explain everything of what I'm using, how I'm going to use it. I think now is an important time to discuss safe words. So we use the stoplight system, green, yellow, and red. At any time, you as a bottom or a submissive can say green if you are wanting a little more intensity, faster, or anything of that nature. You say yellow if you are starting to reach your limits. If it's starting to get just a bit too much, make sure and say yellow. I will come talk to you to find out, is it just the wrong spot to hit? Is it the wrong implement to be using? And then last but not least, definitely not least,
red
is red. And if red is ever said, it is an immediate stop. They immediately get unrestrained and taken to a safe place where aftercare will start taking place.
So the reason I laughed is because there was an incident, maybe once, at the club.
It's probably more than once.
Okay, so I sometimes get a little bit sassy, and I was feeling in a sassy mood this night.
Well,
and
in BDSM world, that's being a brat.
Sassy. I was sassy. And I turned around and I looked at him while restrained on the cross and went, green.
And normally it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. However, that night we had a huge crowd. People were really into it. And you turned around with that shit-eating grin on your face with the green. And I was like, you are going to yellow now. So that is, again, that's what we call being a brat. A lot of submissives like to be brat sometimes. And there is a bratty submissive that is almost always bratty. And they like that domination and the rules and the punishments. So, all right. So first thing that we are going to be using is we're going to start off with a flogger. I usually always start off with a flogger. Now, just for the listeners who are interested in being a top or being a dominant, one thing I always do, regardless of what implement I have, anytime I buy something new, I always try it on myself. You can hold it. You can hit it against your leg. You can sling it back, hit it against your back, or you could have somebody to use it on you. But it's always a good idea to have an understanding of what this feels like, so you know how hard you're swinging it, what the other person is feeling.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Have you let somebody else use your implements on you?
Nobody has used them on me. That goes back to episode 1, I think, of trust and communication. I have a hard time trusting somebody that will use it the right way on me. So no, I don't have that trust in people. So I choose to use it on myself. I can swing it as light and as hard as I need to, so that I know. And again, so I will be starting off with a flogger. It's always important to start off light and slow. This way you don't go immediately into a pain. Starting slow and light with a flogger will start getting the skin reacting. It will get the blood flowing up to the surface of where you're hitting at. And then you can start increasing a little later on. All right. So first up, we're going to use a light intensity flogger. Let me bear with me here so I can get all the microphones set up, because I want to make sure you all at home can hear this too.
So the flogger he's planning on using is a thuddy flogger. It feels really good as it hits my skin.
You doing okay up there? How does that feel?
It feels amazing.
Nice. All right. So yes, now what we'll do, I'm going to move on to a heavier, thuddier flogger. This one is made of real thick material, and the falls are a lot wider. So they tend to make more of an impact on the body and less of a sting or any kind of bite.
So the flogger has a handle, and then it has falls. Did we explain this one before?
I think that was in the terminology one that we decided to leave out.
Exactly. So you want to explain it just for a second?
So yeah, a flogger, you can Google it. You can get pictures of it. You will find pictures of floggers on our website in our photo gallery under Impact Play. But yes, so a flogger can be made of many different materials. Most commonly is leather. And again, there's different types of leather. You can get cow leather and elk leather and just any lamb leather. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of different styles. So yes, your flogger is made up. It has some kind of handle. It may not be a handle that you hold. I have seen floggers made with D-rings where you just kind of hold them in your fingertips, but there is some kind of handle for a flogger. The neck is where the handle and the falls meet. That is how they're fastened together. And what we're pertaining to, what we're speaking about in the falls, that is the strips of material that actually make the impact on the person's body.
So our friends have an amazing one. Multiple friends have purchased these that have fur falls with chain link sewn within them. So the chain link lets it be strong enough so that it has an impact, but the fur feels soft and amazing.
Correct. And when we talk about thuddy and bitey and stingy, that pertains to the material that the falls are made out of and the width that they are. So the wider the falls and the thicker the falls, the more thud you're going to get. If you like the stingy and the bitey, you want a little coarse material, a little bit harder material, leather, and they are a lot thinner. And some of them even come down to a point at the end of it to make them a little more stingy or bitey.
What's the material that you made one out of?
So I made a couple of floggers out of paracord.
Ouch.
And made, I fastened them to a D-ring, and then from that D-ring, one of them, I put nunchuck handles on it, so I can actually use them like nunchucks, and they're really cool. They're really fun to play with, but yes, they do leave a bit of a bite and a bit of a sting. So for you, Lady Dee, I can't swing them very hard. I kind of use them more of a sensation for when I use them on you, but it is for a little more intense play if that's what you're into. So again, now we're going to go with a heavy fall, real wide leather, and this is a thuddy flogger.
My favorite. It feels so good. That sound is all the falls hitting me. So he would slow down the swing, and it allows the falls to hit one at a time on you versus a big group of them together. And it's pretty amazing.
So yes, that is the thuddy flogger. So we're starting to get a little of the blood flow moving now into the area. I am only hitting her currently on her butt. Floggers, you can use them on anywheres on the body, but you have to be very cautious of how hard you hit certain parts of the body. On the backside, right above the butt in the lower back area, you do not want any kind of heavy impact hits there. That is where your kidneys and a lot of internal organs, you can bruise them. You can use a flogger in a very light, sensual play on the back in that area. Just be cautious of not damaging or bruising any internal organs. Another sensitive spot you want to avoid is the bend of the knees, on the back side of the knees. That's a sensitive area of the skin, so you just want to be cautious in that area. but you can lightly flick the flogger anywhere on a body to cause that sensation. Again, just be aware, use it on yourself first so you know what it feels like, so you know how hard to swing it. So I think now we're going to move to a little bit bitey flogger. This one
sounds different.
It definitely sounds different, and it is totally made different. So this one has the leather on it is stiffer. It's more coarse leather. It is mixed in with some lighter material leather, but just the ones that are thick and that are coarse. And the width on these are probably a 1/4 inch wide, and they do kind of come to a little bit of a point. So with these, you can inflict a little bit more pain depending on how hard or how intensified your swing is. This can be used, like right now, I'm just taking
feels good.
The falls of the leather and just letting it rest on her back and just going up and down her body with the falls.
It's like a massage. It feels so good.
So floggers are great for sensual play in this nature right here that I'm doing. But this is impact play, so let's get to the impact.
Definitely a different feeling than the last one. Normally when we're playing, there's a little bit of intensity increase. So through play longer than the 10 to 30 seconds we've been doing, he decreases the sensitivity in my skin and increases the pressure. But this time, he's using one that is a little bit more bitey before being fully warmed up.
All right, Lady Dee, was you doing okay with that?
I was. We will say that I was still at green, but had you been taking full swings, I would have gone yellow because the warm-up period.
Okay. Well, I don't want you yellowing out yet. We still got a few more toys to go through. So I am taking it quite easy on you. So those are the floggers that I'm going to use. There are 3 different type floggers, one being a light intensity flogger, one being a thuddy flogger, and the other being a more bitey flogger. Next, we're going to move to some paddles. Now, one of my more favorite toys, I use it as a paddle. However, it's not a paddle. And for this little bit of segment, we're going to do BDSM on a budget. So we was in Lowe's buying paint so that we could paint some walls at our house. And they had a setup of yardsticks right there at the counter where we was buying the paint. So I looked at that yardstick and I thought, ooh, that would be fun. So I bought it. We came home. I actually cut it down to about 16 inches. I sanded off all the numbers so nobody knew it was a yardstick. I took a torch and kind of burnt it just a little bit, kind of darkened it up a little bit. But I love this yardstick. For one, the sound that it produces is very loud. When I do use it, you can hear people going, ooh, ah, and they're grimacing their faces.
But it's not that hard.
It's not as bad.
More sound than it is paddle.
So it's more of a showpiece.
Except he's broken one on one of our friends.
One of our friends. I had another one and we actually broke it on her ass. But yeah, it does. I mean, don't get me wrong. It can sting. It will sting. And if used hard enough, it will leave welts. But mostly for me, it's a showpiece. I got a couple little tricks with it, and we will actually do those today as well. So let me go grab my yardstick. One thing that you can do with paddles or yardsticks, this is impact play, but it all doesn't have to be impact during a scene. So I will usually take it and just rub it up and down the body to kind of give them an idea of what I have in my hand.
Teasing me.
Kind of teasing them. They don't know
gentle
when
touch.
I'm going to use it or how hard I'm going to use it. So one of the tricks I like to do, especially when Lady Dee's on the cross with her legs spread, I will actually take my yardstick put it in between her legs, right on the inside of her thighs. And as fast as I can go back and forth with it. So hopefully you'll be able to hear this. And I usually always get that giggle right there. Just like that. So now let's move to an actual wooden paddle.
Oh, no.
Now this paddle is made for paddling. It is a thick wood. It's got holes drilled in it. And you can do the same thing with this. You can rub it up and down the skin and just kind of tease and play.
I can feel that it's wood. I can feel that it's a paddle just based on interactions in the past and the fact that it's so smooth and soft.
And it doesn't take much of a swing on this to make it hurt.
Whew.
Just a very small flick of the wrist. And it does. It will leave nice, pretty little welts that will eventually turn into bruises.
They have a lot of them that have brat or I don't even know what they have.
There's brat, there's slut, there's...
And if you hit hard enough, it's reversed so that it leaves the imprint on the butt cheeks.
All right, so the next paddle that I have, a little unique. So this paddle is made of several strips of leather, and they are cut in a zigzag pattern. There's actually 3 pieces of leather laid on top of each other. So you get a little bit of a different sound, but also a little bit different feel of it. So I'm just going to lightly start tapping her with this so you can hear it.
That feels good because he's doing it light.
Right now I'm doing it very light. And again, instead of rubbing and teasing with it, you can just lightly tap like this. Just give a little tease. And then throw one in.
Ouch.
All right. Well, how do you feel about the paddles?
I don't know. I'm okay. I'm okay with the paddles right now.
All right. Are you doing okay?
I prefer floggers.
Yeah, I know you do.
If we were doing a scene, you'd be like, okay, let me move back to those floggers. But we're not doing that today.
This scene is instructional.
I'm taking one for the team here, guys. I'm taking one for you.
So we've only got a couple more implements to go over for this section of our podcast. The next implement I have is an implement that I usually never use on you, Lady Dee. Because I know your limits, and this reaches your limits very, very quickly. But it is a cane. And what a cane is, it is a solid, round, I think mine's made out of plastic. They can be made out of wood. They can be made out of a lot of different things.
And there are people that really love caning.
Yes.
It is a thing, and it is enjoyable for people. Not so much for me.
But they are. Again, depending on the intensity that you use them on is how pleasurable or how painful they can be. I have used this on you a few times, but never been able to really swing it. So what the cane that I have is probably about almost 2 foot long. It is made out of a plastic type, real rigid. It's hard to bend. You can't bend it. But I did learn a new trick with it from watching another Dom.
God bless.
So you can actually, what I like doing is taking this cane, taking the very tip of it and putting it right in the middle of a butt cheek and just applying a little bit of pressure. So although it's not impact, it is kind of fun to just play around with.
And there's no pain in that. He's not smacking me.
I'm not hitting you at all with it.
There is pain because of the pressure on your muscles in your butt. It's a new torture way without hurting somebody.
All right, let's see if we can get any kind of sound off of a cane. Again, I am not swinging hardly any at all.
Okay, let's say green.
All right, here we go.
Oh. Do it again. Ow! All right. Ouch.
So just those 2 little taps right there, I can already see 2 little red marks coming up. Woo! So if you like the marks and the bruising, canes are something that will definitely give you those marks and bruises. So let's move on to the one that is always an instant red with you.
But it is a beautiful implement.
It is.
That people are amazed by the way it looks and sounds.
Yep. So what I have is similar to a whip. It's called a dragon's tail. And like a flogger, it has a handle. It has one piece of leather that starts off at the handle really wide. And as it gets down to the very tip, it comes to a V point.
How many feet is it, would you say?
Probably about 3 feet. But you can take it, and I use it as a whip. This is an immediate red.
I hope
for
you
Lady
guys
Dee.
appreciate this.
So hopefully we can at least, I know we're going to get one in, but maybe we can go for one on one cheek and one on another, just so you can hear it.
I'll suck it up and do it one time. Oh, wait, don't do the other side. Ouch. Oh, my God. Oh, totally red. It continues to hurt. I think maybe we shouldn't use me as a model for this. Oh, you could take a picture of that and post it because I'm sure it's going to show a mark.
It's got a mark already.
All right. You could do the other side. Ready? We're going to do one more so you can hear this one more. That's
I'm going
it.
to try to get this one a little bit better.
A little bit easier,
right,
not better.
Let's go for the right side.
That was better. Thank you.
You want one more?
Okay, you can do one more because that one seems like it might have not hit properly. Ooh, why'd you move so low?
Trying to avoid all the equipment.
All right. We're done with that one. That one is not. It's not for Lady Dee.
All right, so we are back in our comfy chairs now from doing our little scene and demonstration to you all.
Yay!
How are you feeling?
I am feeling like we need a longer session. I'm just saying that was,
That
wonderful.
Was a tease.
It was a tease. It was such a tease. But I did want to explain my reaction to the, what is it called? Dragon's tail. So my reaction to the dragon's tail was because when it hits, you feel it hits you, and then it builds. And suddenly you're like, ow, it's hurting more. And oh, it's even more. And oh my God, it's even more. So that was my reaction. Although when it comes down to it, it hurts, but it's not forever pain. He didn't do anything terrible to me, right. Although it might have sounded like it.
It's kind of like an immediate hit. It's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving.
That's it.
You get the initial sting and you think, okay, it's going to go away in 5 to 10 seconds, but then it just continues to build and to sting until finally it starts falling off its edge and the pain starts going down.
Absolutely. And you wonder, does she like that? And to be honest, I do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing any of this.
She actually just told me while we was getting everything set back up for our studio that, it wouldn't be bad if you used that on me, towards the end occasionally. So
absolutely.
I might have to start incorporating that a little bit more.
A little bit more.
But yeah, so this episode is kind of, like I said, introduction into impact play.
But we wanted you to be able to hear it and understand how the interaction may go.
Correct. We could have sat here and just talked about everything, but we feel that
what fun is that?
The interactive of us doing a little small introduction scene of impact. We hope you enjoyed it. Drop us a line. Give us some feedback on it. We're all about constructive criticism. Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Because there's certain episodes in the future that we could do similar, or we could do a deeper dive into it.
And we can definitely go deeper into the impact play later on and actually just set up our studio and do nothing but a scene
in our dungeon.
And it's possibly one that we could video and have on our website only to view, not only seeing it, but also hearing it as well. So, those are options that that we will definitely take into consideration. So let us know your thoughts.
Absolutely.
And give us some feedback. I want you to know I can dominate without using any tools, without using any impact play, and without any hitting.
Absolutely, my sexy man, so my sexy master, Nick.
Our next episode is about dominant and submissive lifestyle. It's an introduction into domination, where we will talk about the mental aspects, the psychological aspects, and how to physically dominate through posture, positioning, how to control your sub's behavior with tasks.
No.
Punishments. And
red
punishments. So make sure and stay tuned. Give us a like, give us a follow, so you're updated when our next episode drops.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red.